Hey, Leo here for Actualized.org. And you might be asking yourself, who is this guy and why should I even listen to him to help me figure out what I should be doing in my life? Well, I'm sitting here in front of my little library of books that I've been reading over the last 5 years and that I still continue to read. This is not actually all of them. I couldn't stack them high enough. And then, of course, that's not counting all the video products and seminars that I've attended and audio products that I listened to. But the point being is that it's really not to show off and to show you how much I've read. It's about creating a sense of certainty that what I have to say can have value to you, right? Because I have processed a lot of information, and this was not done to impress anybody else. This was simply done because I needed to figure this out for myself. And I didn't find any resources out there that were telling me how this was gonna play out. Nobody out there was telling me what I needed to do to get engaged with life. No one was out there telling me what I needed to do to become rich and successful. No one was out there telling me to do what to do to become healthy. So I needed to go out there and figure it out, and I didn't have those resources. And I was coming from an environment where my family and my friends weren't doing this stuff. So my family wasn't healthy. In fact, they were the opposite. My friends weren't successful or healthy either, so I couldn't learn any information from them, so I had to figure it all out on myself. And you know, right now we live in an amazing time. We live in a time where you can go out literally and Google something or type something into YouTube, and you're going to get a free video that tells you how to do this, how to do that, how to learn a new skill, how to develop yourself in all these different ways. And that's amazing. Like free information. 20 years ago, you would have just killed for this. But with all that's out there, I find that it's a little bit low level. It's how to, right? You can go out there and learn how to do a specific thing. The problem is that you're not going to follow up with it. You're not going to actually do it, because the underlying all that is the engagement that you need to have, the motivation, the drive, right? And also the big picture, some of the higher level strategies that you need. Because sometimes what happens in life is that you're fighting really hard to win the battle, and you win the battle, but you end up losing the war. And that's because you've been a bad strategist. You've been doing something that wasn't ultimately leading you towards what was going to make you happy or what was going to make you fulfilled. And so part of the reason that I have these books here is because when you read through one book, you can get some nice how-to information. When you read a couple hundred books, what you get is you get wisdom. You get strategy. You start to see that some things are more important than others. And the core of wisdom is knowing how to put value on things. It's knowing what to pursue and what not to pursue, and why, and where it will work in one situation and where it won't work in another. So what I want to tell you is that I'm committed to giving you wisdom. I don't want to give you a how-to, although we will be talking about specific techniques and tactics that you can be using, and 1, 2, 3 kind of checklists that you can go through and actually go out there and implement. But I want to make you an independent thinker. I want to set you up for success in the long term. I don't want you to just succeed next month. I don't want you to succeed next year. I want you to have a successful life. And to me, a successful life means living to your full potential. So this is my study of how to live up to full potential. How does anyone, live up to their full potential, no matter where they are, whether they start off poor or whether they're already rich and they're but still unsatisfied with what they're doing? This information here gives us some clues. And of course, it's important that it's not just books, because it's very easy to sit down and read a book and to start doing empty theorizing. For me, the real trick and challenge of self-development and success is, sure, you read about it, but then you actually go out there and you try it. And the value for me has been in going out there and trying these various different things and seeing what actually works, and why does it work, and what doesn't work. And in which situations do certain things work, and in which situations do they not work? And who do they work for? What types of people do they work for? Right? And so a lot of what I'm talking about, I try not to talk about anything in theory at all. I really hate to just talk and not walk my talk. So anything that I talk about, whether it's fitness or career advice or how to get your life in shape or money success, starting a business, any of that kind of stuff, I try to always talk about it from personal experience. So these books give me some rounded foundation and some theory. They give me a lot of important conceptual knowledge, but most of it has to be tested because there's a lot of bullshit in these books, honestly. And a lot of it is not as effective as it should be. And for me, part of the challenge over the last 5 years as I was struggling with self-help is figuring out which aspects of self-help actually work. Because it took me a couple of years of reading books just to start to see results from self-help. The first few years, I really wasn't seeing anything. I was getting a lot of interesting information, but it wasn't making a change in my life. It wasn't making me more engaged. It wasn't giving me more motivation. It wasn't making me more successful or giving me more money. I had to go out there and really study and figure out, what are the things that trigger the results? Because that's what I'm about. I don't like just positive thinking and wishy-washy language and abstract theorizing. I want to bring it down to earth. I want to get results that are real for me, right? Whether that means more money, better health, more happiness, better outlook on life. All those things ultimately have to happen. I have to feel them. If I don't feel them, I don't care about them. So that's where this comes in. The other thing is that I have quite a bit of experience testing this stuff out. I've really tried to create a rounded, well-rounded life for myself. Whether it's getting my career into shape, getting myself into shape. I don't know if you know this, but throughout most of my life, I used to be fat. I was overweight. I was 65 pounds heavier than I was right now. And I really struggled to lose weight for a very long time until I started applying some of the stuff that I learned and got disciplined about it. And then I dropped 65 pounds in 5 months. And I've been able to keep that off for 8 years now. So sustainable change, right? And the question, of course, is how do you do stuff like that? How do you make positive changes in your life that actually stick, that are sustainable, and that make you happy? So right now, I'm not sitting here sucking on my thumb, hoping to go eat some junk food. In fact, I eat super clean right now, and I love it. I feel great about it. And that's not how I was before. So part of the reason I tell you this is not to brag so much as to show you that it's possible. Because the first step is believing that it can be done. The biggest problem I had when I was starting all this stuff is I didn't know. Could it be done? I had some ideal wishes that it worked, but I was always skeptical. And that skepticism was justified in some cases because not all this stuff works. Some of it is bullshit. Some of it does work. But the stuff that does work, and when you figure that out and you get those nuggets, oh boy, it's really, really worth it. So what I want to help you do here is to cut the learning curve down. Right? So that you're not spending all this time reading through all these books, because honestly, who has time to do that? Not everyone. I've made a career of this. This is my life, is doing this stuff. So now I can make it work. But most of you don't have that time and frankly don't want that. So instead, I can cut that learning curve for you. And I promise nothing easy for you. You're still going to have to work for it. But I can certainly promise to eliminate some of the dead ends that you would be going down, right? Whether it's your health, which I've really optimized my health to the point where I eat clean all the time now, 100% clean, never even stray one time, like no cheat days, none of that stuff, and I feel great about it. How did I do that? What kind of inner mindsets that I had to develop in myself to make that happen? I can share stuff like that with you. Or how do you create a business? Did you know that I created an internet business that earned me over $1 million in cash profit over the span of about 4 years? How do you do that? And I started that business with $2,000 of investment of cash. How do you do something like that? Or how do you become less judgmental of others and less judgmental and critical of yourself? How do you get more excited about what you're doing in your life? How do you create a career that you really love? How do you become successful in relationships? I used to be horrible with relationships. In fact, I didn't even know how to talk to women. Huge problem for me. I was coming from a background where I was very uncomfortable and insecure with myself because I was overweight through most of my life, that it really hurt me with dating, relationships in the opposite sex, to the point where I was so shy that I didn't even know how to speak with a girl. And then I took it upon myself to really correct all of that through a lot of study and a lot of practice, going out there and actually changing things. And I got involved with the pickup scene for a few years and got a lot of insight and results from that. So whatever part of your life you want to get handled, I've tried to design my own life, and I think that there are these basic elements that are core to everybody. Everybody wants to have good relationships to be happy. Everybody needs to have a decent career to be happy. Everybody needs to feel good in their own body and to be relatively healthy and exercising and eating quality foods to be happy. Everybody needs to have certain mindsets that make them think in a positive way so that you're not in fear all the time, and you're not self-sabotaging, and you're not doubtful and anxious all the time. Without these basic pillars, you can't really have a happy life. And so in trying to create a happy life for myself, I basically had to go in and retool some of these pillars. Some of them I was basically at zero at. Relationships, zero. Literally the worst that you can possibly be, that's where I started. Career, I was a little bit better at, because throughout my youth I've always kind of put attention on that, and I figured that was important. So I was a little bit better there, but then again, I started my business and I had no business experience at all. So basically started that from scratch and figured it all out somehow. And so now I've brought that pillar up. And then of course, health, I was super unhealthy. Basically, again, starting at a zero, I grew up in a family where health was not valued at all, and really still isn't. And so I had to kind of bring myself out of the weeds there. So getting these pillars into place, whatever it is that you need to get into place, and really getting a nice balance across the board of all those has been a challenge. And these books have helped me do it. The seminars that I've watched have helped me do it. The training that I've gotten has helped me do it. The people that I've interviewed and talked to have helped me do it. The friends that I know and some of the world leading experts that I've talked to have helped me do it. And the clients that I worked with have shared some valuable insights with me for what works and what doesn't work for other people. So I encourage you to really take advantage of this. Most of the information I offer is free. You can find it just by the videos on the site. And the articles, go ahead and look at those. Take advantage of this, because this is something that will really cut your learning curve down and let you get your life taken care of. Any part of your life that's not doing as well as you want it to, we can make it better. And I personally have proved it to myself that this is possible in any area of your life. And from everything that I've seen from all the experts to all my friends to all the clients that I've worked with, it's possible. The question is, are you doing it correctly? Let me show you how.